Good day, everyone, especially to Imam Krishnaya. For our topic that we will discuss is all about the intention, attitude, and interest. Presented by me, Generosi Pohoyo, and Angeline Gonzaga. So here's the objective. After reading this unit, you will be able to elucidate the concept of attitude, intention, and social interest, define attitude, intention, and interest, describe the theoretical frameworks of attitude, intention, and interest, explain the social processes in development and management of attitude, intention, and interest, describe how the individual's attitude, intention, and interest lead to change in the social behavior, and lastly, to identify the specific factor which influence attitude, intention, and interest. Here's the introduction. This unit introduces deals with attitudes, intention, social interest. It gives a definition, description, and characteristic features of attitude and differentiate the same from those of intention and social interest. So kanina Unit 2, it focuses on attitude in social intention and social interest, which it explains what each concept means, their characteristic, and how they differ from one another. It also discusses the factor that influence them in the theories that help us understand how attitude and intention are formed. So this unit further explains how social processes shape this behavior and describe the behavioral changes that result from attitudes, intention, and social interests. Here we have the definition of attitudes, intention, and interest. So the term attitude refers to a certain regularities of an individual's feeling, thought, and predisposition to act towards some aspect of one's environment. So Cunning the term attitudes down now, which it referred to the consistent ways of a person feels, thinks, and behaves towards something in their environment. They include emotions, belief, or thought, or also action or tendency to act. And these attitudes can be directed towards everyday objects, abstract ideas, or distant social issues, or even very personal concerns. Next, we have the three components may be illustrated by an individual's attitudes towards Commonwealth game or the CWG. So firstly, we have the affective component. So I will explain it na lang, which is the affective component. It is seen as strong negative emotion like an anger or rising blood pressure when the games are discussed, while for the cognitive component is it his belief that the games waste money, harm the economy, or mainly belief benefits corrupt officials. So these feelings and thoughts together shape his overall attitudes toward the event. So lastly, we have the component of behavioral of an attitude, which refer to a person action tendencies, which the intention to act or what they say or what they actually do regarding an object or issue. So this is doing part of the attitude. Like for example, a person with a negative attitudes toward the Commonwealth game or CWG shows the component by writing letters of criticism, arguing or other to vote against the government or denouncing the event in conversation. So this component makes the underlying attitudes manifest and also observable. So here we have the theories of attitudes organization. So firstly, we have the Helder's balance theory. So kaning Helder's balance theory, it is considered as the father of modern consistency theory. So it is an influential balance theory that sparked widespread research into consistency principles among behavioral scientists. It primarily deals with the consistency of attitudes towards a person, another person, or the object and issue. And while for the new camp theory of symmetry, it is focuses on the theory of interpersonal communication, like when two people interact, their attitudes toward an object or a person can be positive or negative. Next, we have the Osgood and Tannenbaum's theory of congruity. So, kanina theory na which is focuses on how we manage attitudes that have positive, negative, or even a zero emotional value. So, this congruity exists when related elements have the same sign, such as both positive or both negative, or an equal intensity. So if there is an imbalance, we try to change our attitudes to make them consistent. And while for the Festinger's theory of cognitive dissonance, so this is about an inconsistency between cognitive elements. So this dissonance between elements creates psychological tension, which motivates an individual to reduce the dissonance by changing their attitudes or behavior. And lastly, we have the MC to process theory of consistency. So, kanina theory, no, it divides motivational drives into two types, such as cognitive preservation and cognitive growth. So, this consistency is achieved through satisfying various underlying needs associated with these two processes, such as the need for autonomy, stimulation, or the categorization. Next, we have the Katz and Stantland theory. So, this theory proposed that attitudes serve for a core motivational function for the individual, such as the adjustive, the ego defensive, the value expressive, and lastly, the knowledge. And while for the Kalman's three-process theory it explains attitude change based on the level of internalization, like such as the compliance, the identifications, or the internalizations. And while lastly for the Rosenberg consistency theory is cognition theory, it focuses on the need for the internal balance within an attitude. So it suggests that the affective and cognitive components of an attitude must be consistent with each other. So the strength of the feeling toward an object is directly related to the strength of a person's belief about the object's important values. So here we have the Festinger theory of cognitive dissonance. So it introduced his theory by noting that the attitudes of an individuals are normally consistent with each other, so that he behaves in accordance with his attitudes and that his various actions are consistent with each other. So while for this dissonance, so cognition dissonance noise, this is a state of psychological discomfort caused by an inconsistency between two or more related beliefs or between a belief and a behavior. Like for example, no, knowing you can only afford 35K for a motorbike, but signing a contract to pay is more than 50K. So the belief or budget is inconsistent with an action or contract. So when a dissonance occurs, individuals are driving to reduce its regain psychological balance. And here we have the methods of dissonance reduction. First, we have the change of behavioral cognitive elements. So for this one, no, it changed the behavior or belief to align them. Like for example, a smoker who believes a smoking is bad for health, so it may stop smoking, thus so it changes the behavior. Second, we have the change of environmental cognitive elements. So for this one, it involves changing factor in the environment that is causing the dissonance with one's behavior. Like for example, a smoker switches to a filtered tip brand or seek out the other smoker who provide arguments against the link between smoking and cancer. So they change the input environment to support the behavior. And for the third one, we have the addition of new cognitive elements. So for this one po, no, this involves adding new consistent elements to tweak the dissonance, especially when the original and conflicting elements are hard to change. Like for example, a person who bought an affordable office space convinced themselves they are likely to get a pay raise, so can readjust other expenses or has overestimated the cost or underestimated the income. So they just add positive supported reason to justify the purchase.